is a Creole feast today in the sartorial kitchen. I'm doing a baked version of a classic seafood boil, a risotto-style dirty rice, bring your pan drippings into a luscious berblanc sauce, and my version of red lobster biscuits. Why don't you pull up a chair and dine with us?
Guys, it is Mardi Gras again, and you better believe I'm over my friend Ruth's for a Fat Tuesday feast. It's Old Bay, and I'm ready to get into the kitchen and get it going. All right, guys, we're in the kitchen. So we're doing a roasted seafood boil. We're also doing a dirty rice, but we're starting with a dough for some red lobster biscuits. How great does that sound? So I've already got about 6 tablespoons of melted butter in my bowl here. And then we're gonna add our dry ingredients to that. So I've got a cup of flour, and then I need another cup. And I'm sifting, of course, because I want nice, light, airy biscuits. And to help them rise, a teaspoon of baking powder. And then for some good flavor, about a half teaspoon of garlic salt. You could use salt and garlic powder too if you like, but I think it's good having it all in one. And then we're going to give this a little tap just until everything's incorporated. And then you'll see all these lumps. That's why I like to sift it. And you can just kind of push those through. We need about a cup of buttermilk. You can use regular milk as well. You can use heavy whipping cream, whatever you like. I just think the buttermilk has nice flavor. And then we're just gonna come in here and whisk this all together gently. I don't want to overmix the flour. Once you get most of it together, you can even come in with your hands if you want, just to make sure it's all well incorporated. A good cook is never afraid to get their hands dirty. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So here is our biscuit dough. We just have one more thing here. And a red lobster biscuits without cheese. I'm using a sharp cheddar mix. It's got some white cheddar in there, which I really love. You can eyeball this. I'm only going to add about a half cup. And then we'll just kind of come in here and fold that in to our dough. Just so each bite is going to have a nice pop of cheese in there, just to make it really luscious. All right, that looks great. So I'm just going to cover this with some plastic wrap. It's going to chill in the fridge until we're ready to throw them in. They only cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. So we're going to throw those in very last. All right, guys, our biscuit dough is chilling out in the fridge. I'm just finishing cutting up some potatoes here. So if you're familiar with a seafood boil, it's potatoes, it's sausage, it's seafood, corn. But I always feel that roasting is so much more flavorful than boiling. Amount of seasoning on them. So this is just one package of potatoes, fingerling, red, brown, and then we're just going to season this up, and it's really simple, guys. So some Old Bay. I'm doing a teaspoon. Potatoes are naturally bland, so you want them to have lots of flavor. And some pepper, about a half teaspoon of that, and then of the salt as well. We want this to have lots of flavor here. And the olive oil is going to help our seasoning stick. It's also going to give us some nice color And then just get in here with your hands. Do not be afraid to get dirty, once again. And just toss all this together. So we want all of this to have tons of flavor. That is great. And then we're gonna drop this right into our little Dutch oven. I've already got the oven preheated at 425. And they're gonna roast for about 14-15 minutes. And then we'll take it out and we will add our corn and sausage and then our seafood. All right, guys, so our potatoes are roasting nicely. We're gonna go ahead and work on our rice here. I've got a couple tablespoons of oil, a couple tablespoons of butter. The oil gives us that burning temperature and the butter gives us lots of flavor. And this is just onions and peppers. Give that a little stir so it gets coated in all this. This is our flavor base for the rice. I'm doing a risotto style dirty rice. And we're just gonna come in here, some salt and pepper, get our flavors going. I'm just gonna let that cook down. Once it does, we'll add some garlic, then we'll toast our rice, and then we'll be in some good shape. All right, guys. Potatoes are about to come out, so I'm gonna start prepping this up, and my onions and peppers are looking good. So I know corn's out of season, so you wanna check your corn. If it's got any little not so fun bits on it, you can always cut that off. I am going to cut this into thirds, I think, so then everybody can have like a little piece of the corn. And then this one here. And then that's just gonna go right in. And then we'll get the other ones here. All right, that is the last of the corn. And again, just like the potatoes, we're gonna come in here, just a little oil, about a tablespoon or so. And then again, with the Old Bay, I want this to be very flavorful. Just kind of toss that in. Some more salt and pepper. Again, about half teaspoon of the salt and pepper. And come in here with our hands once more and just toss this up. All right, that's great. And for the sausage here, it is already seasoned and full of flavor and has plenty of fat, so we don't need any oil for that. But I'm gonna come in here, cut the ends off. And I'm just gonna do about half-inch medallion size. Beautiful. I'm gonna set that right in our bowl as well. As soon as those potatoes come out, we're gonna throw this in and then add it back to the roast. And then we should be ready to start toasting our rice. All right, guys, our potatoes are going off. Let's take a look here. Oh, they smell amazing. And you can hear them, they're sizzling beautifully. I'm then going to give them a little stir. Oh, that's great. And you can smell that Old Bay. Oh, yum, yum, yum. So we're just gonna dump this right in. Get all that flavor, seasoning out of there. And again, we're just gonna kind of toss this up. I don't want like the potatoes and everything just sitting at the bottom. I want all of this to get nice and charred and flavorful. I think that's good. We're ready to go back in. And that's gonna cook for about another 15. And I think our veggies have cooked down beautifully. Time to add our garlic. We always add the garlic last, and why is that? Because the garlic cooks really fast, it'll burn. Anybody who has been following me this whole time will be able to tell you that. I think I say it in almost every episode, because I love my garlic. Just stir that around, it's really gonna cook, like I said, for about a minute or so. And then we'll get our rice here. This is arborio rice, traditional for a risotto, because like I said before, we're doing a risotto style dirty rice. So there's 1 cup there, and then I think I'm gonna do about a ½ cup more. That'll be perfect. And we throw our rice in first. I like to toast it. It really gets like a nuttiness, and it picks up all those flavors we've already got going on here in the skillet. Just let it go until you get a little bit of color here. All right, I've also got some hot sausage here. It's gonna go in as well. I just wanna brown that up. So traditional dirty rice, you can do ground pork, you can do ground beef. If you're adventurous, you do the gizzards and the liver and from the chicken, but that is not me. I like the pork sausage because I love the fat content. It's going to kind of render down and add some nice flavor here to this rice. And I throw it in with the rice so it kind of cooks down and really gets a lot of that nice pork flavor on the rice. So our pork is cooked down and this rice is beautifully toasted. Oh my gosh. I love like a nice little crispy rice. So, classic risotto always begins with a little white wine. This is intermingle. You can use any wine you like. I would use a dry wine, not a sweet. Sweet for desserts, dry for savory. And you don't have to spend a ton of money on wine, just whatever you like, whatever looks good. If it's something you would drink, then it's something you can cook with. And literally about a 1/4 cup, maybe a little more. And just kind of stir that around. Just kind of let that reduce until you can kind of smell that raw kind of alcohol flavor has kind of cooked out. And that's just going to add a real depth of flavor to this. You don't have to use the wine too, you can leave it out if you prefer, but I really think it does just a little something extra to this. Now we're going to prep our seafood. So I've got some shrimp here. This is about 1 pound of shrimp. I just got it from the seafood counter at the market. I've also got some lobster here. So 1 pound of shrimp, they weigh the shrimp per piece. And when you get like 1 pound, you're getting about 12 to 15 pieces depending on the size of the shrimp. And then the lobster, I took 2 tails and I just cut them up. So we got about 16 pieces out of that. So I thought, why not? The lobster was a good sale price. The shrimp was a good sale price. I want this to be super lush. And then again with our oil here, the tablespoons, more of our salt and pepper. I'm doing the same measurements for each layer because I wanted this to have the same kind of flavors here. And then again with our teaspoon of the Old Bay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I've also got some lemons here. You know me, I love my lemon. So I'm just cutting these lemons in half. They're gonna roast with all of this other stuff. And if you've never had a roast lemon, it just really, it caramelizes and really intensifies that flavor. So I'm gonna squeeze a little of this in here just to go ahead and get that kind of lemon flavor going. And we'll squeeze a little on what's already in there, the corn and the potatoes and everything. And then we'll just toss them in to let them roast. This is going to be some nice depth of flavor. And we'll come in here with our spoon. This one I'm not going to toss with my hands like the other two, because the seafood is raw meat. Okay, I think that wine has cooked out nicely. It smells beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and start ladling in our stock. I do about a ladle to a ladle and a half at a time, and just stir that in. And the thing with risotto, vigorous stirring. You have to continuously stir to keep the rice from sticking to the bottom for one. Plus you want to make sure all the rice is submerged in the liquid so it all cooks the same. And what's going to happen is this rice is going to slowly drink up that broth, and it's just going to get nice and plump. And then once you start running out of liquid, you add more stock and you stir, stir, stir until it's nice and creamy. All right, guys. Woo-wee. Oh, I'm smelling so many good things right now. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to take the rest of our lemon and squeeze over this here. And once you squeeze it, you can drop it right in. And here's our pieces from earlier. Beautiful. And now we're going to drop in our seafood. Yes. Oh, listen to that. Fabulous. Now we'll come in here and stir this up. I don't want like all the seafood's just sitting right on top. I want to kind of get it all integrated into this whole pot here. Oh, it looks so good. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, now this is gonna go in the last step, about 10 to 12 minutes tops. Seafood does not take as long to cook, and everything else should be kind of cooked through by that point. So we'll drop it right back in. I'll set it for 10. We can check it if we need to leave it in a little longer, we can. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping my biscuits here. About a tablespoon or so. And these are drop biscuits, they don't have to be perfect. You could also use an ice cream scoop if you had one. And I just kind of just gently roll them. I want them to be a similar size so they kind of bake at the same time. Alright, last one. So depending on how big you make these, you should be able to get about 15 or so. And I'm just gonna kind of, yeah. Alright, now I've got some garlic butter here. Just melted butter, some garlic salt, and some dried parsley from my garden. And we're just gonna brush the top of these. I want these to have lots of flavor. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm going to save that. We can always throw some more on top after they come out. Oh, that looks amazing. The lemon, the corn, the shrimp, the lobster. You can see that it's just nice and pink. That's kind of how you want it. Nothing worse than overcooked shrimp. And then we've got the roasted potatoes and everything in here. And I wish you were here with me. You could just smell how lovely this all is right now. So we're going to do a little switcheroo. We took that out. Now we're going to throw our biscuits in. And they cook at the same temperature. That's why I love this recipe, because it's perfect with everything. These are going to cook, depending on your oven, about 12 to 15 minutes. I think I'm going to set them for 13, just to split the difference. And I think our risotto is just about complete. I'm going to let that rest for a second. And if you're not sure if the rice is done or not, just grab a little tasting spoon and get like where the actual like rice is. Oh, that's so good. I think just one more little ladleful and it should be complete. All right, so we moved our bake here just to keep it nice and warm. I'm getting ready to start a sauce here, but our risotto is finished. Give it one last stir. We're gonna finish this with a little Parmesan. And this is what I talk about when I say high-low cooking, because this is just Kraft grated Parmesan. I'm adding about a 1/4 cup just to make this extra luscious. And I'm just gonna stir that in so it's nice and so it melts nicely, and we might add just a little more. You can never have too much cheese. And just stir it in. So it's nice and incorporated, and you can just see how lovely and creamy this is. Just beautiful. I've just got it on a very low warming zone setting, just so it stays nice and hot, but it doesn't dry out on us. And our pan here should be good and hot. This is all the lovely sear and drippings that we got from roasting all that stuff here, and it would be a crime to let all this flavor go to waste. So I'm gonna make a little pan sauce out of here. If you're French, you would call this a berblanc. It's just a butter sauce. Saute these shallots just until they're nice and translucent, slightly caramelized. And we'll add some garlic. And then it's just butter and wine and a little of our stock. Shallots have cooked down nicely. I'm gonna add a little bit of this garlic, just like before. We always add the garlic last because it will burn. And what the shallots do, as they render down, they release some of their juices, and it allows you to kind of scrape up all these lovely little bits from the bottom of the skillet. And then we're gonna finish deglazing this with some more of our wine. Just enough to kind of coat the bottom of the skillet. And then you just kind of cook that down just like before with toasting the rice until you smell that kind of alcohol flavor cook out. We'll add a little of our stock. We'll finish with some butter. Now let's check our biscuits. It's been about 13 minutes. They may need to go a little longer. We're gonna see here. I think these look pretty good. Okay, that wine has cooked down nicely. I think I'm going to add just about a full ladle of our stock. Beautiful. And then we let that kind of come to a simmer, and then once it does, we'll throw in our butter and turn this to like a very low heat, and it's just going to become this luscious little decadent sauce. And then we'll add our seafood back into this and stir it up, and it'll be a beautiful. Okay, as you can see, this is simmering. We don't want it like boiling. We just want to kind of bubble a little bit. We throw in our butter. This is 4 tablespoons. Cold butter. You don't want melted butter for this because you really want the temperature difference. The butter's going to slowly melt as it's still cold, and the temperatures of the boiling stock and wine and the cold butter come together and create this just really decadent, luscious sauce. The whole process takes about 15 minutes if you're timing yourself out. Once most of the butter melts, I turn it down to a very low heat just to let that kind of come together. We don't want the butter to burn. And as you can see, that sauce is thickened up nicely. And this is just a classic pan sauce or berblanc. Okay, so we're just gonna slowly transfer everything back into the sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. And then we'll kind of give everything one last stir so everything gets that lovely sauce all over it. Oh, it messed with the TV. Okay. All right, there's everything here. We're just gonna stir that up. And I think we're gonna use a ladle to serve ourselves here with this, so we can end up getting some of that lovely sauce underneath as well. But I would say this is a beautiful roasted seafood boil. Okay, we're just gonna dish up here. Normally I would serve something like this tableside, but this sucker is pretty heavy with everything in it, so I thought we would just do a little serving table. I've got the beads out, I've got the mask, it's just festive. I just want to get a little bit of the rice. And then we'll come here and just get a big scoop of everything here. And I want to get some of that sauce on everything. And then of course, we can't forget our biscuits. I think those turned out beautifully. Now we are ready to dig in. All right, we are digging in. I've got my beads and I am ready to feast. I just want to take this roasted lemon first. And I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit more on there. And we're just gonna come in here. The potatoes and the sausage and everything. Oh my gosh. I mean, the lemon just wakes everything up. The potatoes are nice and soft. They're a little crisp on the outside. Sausage, just a little heat, not too hot. We've got our seafood here that is just cooked perfectly. Yeah, just nice and tender, succulent. Now let's get in here to our rice. And as you can see, that got just nice and creamy. Oh, so full of flavor. Luscious. The heat from the sausage. You can just taste little back notes of that white wine we glazed with. And our biscuit here. Nice and crisp on the bottom, soft and tender on the inside. It may not look exactly like theirs, but it's pretty darn close. And I think I'm gonna sop up a little of my sauce with that. Wow. Yeah. Nice and light and airy. You got that crisp on the outside. I get all those flavors, the cheese, the garlic. So good. Well, I thank you guys for joining me once again for another fabulous feast, that Tuesday feast. We're gonna finish enjoying our meal, but as always, like and subscribe, hit me up in the comment section, and stay tuned.